Welcome to a World of Good podcast. My name is Andrew Gale, and I am currently in Silver Sands Church of God. Is that the name? I know it's a city, but is that also the name of the church?
That's the name of the church.
Okay, Silver Sands Church of God in Barbados. In a beautiful time of year for a northerner in the United States to come to Barbados when there is ice and snow on the ground and my kids have school delays and I am in shorts with a beautiful sunset over the ocean not far off. So really enjoying my time here with Reverend Lennox Boyce and with the leaders here in Barbados for their conference that they're having right now. Go Ye Therefore is their theme. And so been able to join them for these last couple days. And yeah, Reverend Lennox, thank you so much for making time for us to share a little bit on a World of Good podcast.
Wonderful, Andrew, and it is a pleasure to have you in Barbados. I'm enjoying this. Good to have you visiting us, and we look forward to having you come again and again. Yes.
Well, I'm looking forward to that as well. I need to already start putting it on my calendar. It's been a beautiful, beautiful place. Tell us about yourself. For those that don't know who you are, tell about yourself and your family.
Right. So I'm Lennox Boyce. The folk here at Silver Sands call me Pastor.
Yes.
And well, in relation to my family, I've been married to Sandra for 30 years.
Wow.
So just in July, we celebrated 30 years of marriage and ministry.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. I have a son and a daughter. My son is Jerome. He is 25. And my daughter, Jalea, is 21.
Okay.
Two beautiful children. We have worked here at the Silver Sands Church of God for 20 years.
Wow.
So we've been here 20 years now. March is going to be 20 years that we were here. It's a thriving church. We have about 200 members. We cater to just about all the generations.
That's awesome.
So we have Sunday school, we have youth fellowship, we do men and women, and we also have a group called Joy, the Joy Ministry, just older youth.
Oh, nice.
So to be a member of the Joy Ministry, you have to be 55 years or older, right? Just older youth, and they do some fantastic things together as well. So that's the kind of church we are. And
you grew up here in Barbados. This is your home country, but in a different church.
Yes, I grew up in Barbados. My original church was the Barbados Church of God. My wife Sandra grew up here in Silver Sands at this church.
Okay. At kind of opposite ends of the island.
Opposite ends of the island.
Yeah.
But interesting story is that we met at Chapman Street, which is the middle of the island.
Oh, funny.
Which was the place where most national events were held.
Okay.
So I moved from Boscobel to Chapman Street to be their organist.
Oh, wow.
And while I was their organist,
I don't know that I knew you were a piano player.
Yeah,
wow,
I do a little bit.
There we go.
And while I was there, the then pastor told me he wanted me to consider being the youth leader.
Okay.
Yeah, so eventually I became the youth pastor, and it kind of charted my course in terms of pastoral ministry.
That's wonderful. And I want to talk a little about the Church of God in Barbados in a second, but before we go there, tell me about Barbados, the island itself. So, as I landed here, I had a vision of what it would be like, and it has both been similar and surprised me in different ways. So we actually just drove almost all the way to the northern part of the island and back, because how long and wide is the island?
Okay, so Barbados is about 21 miles long.
Okay.
And about 14 miles across.
Yeah.
166 square miles.
So not a large island.
No, it's a small island, vibrant island.
Yeah.
We have summer all year round.
Yeah, and the beaches. I mean, that's not a big island, but every part of it is a beautiful beach.
You can see the beach from wherever you are, but I guess because we live here, we kind of take those views for granted.
I do not take those views for granted. It's wonderful.
Yes. But it's we became independent nation in 1966.
Okay.
And so our flag,
independent
our flag from Great Britain.
Yep.
Right. So on our flag you have the emblem, which is called the broken trident.
Okay.
And that symbolized our breakaway from British rule.
Wow.
Where we became an independent nation. So we are now a republic.
Okay.
Yes. So a couple of years ago, we also changed to republic status.
Okay. So I mean, that fairly new then, as a independent, independent island. And Population, about how many people live here?
We have about 280,000 people.
Okay, so just over a quarter million.
It's a densely populated island, especially in the areas around the towns. Out in the country, it's not as densely populated, but in terms of the number of persons per square mile, it's considered one of the densely populated islands in the world.
And you also have a number, I mean, for being such a small island, you have a number of churches.
Yes, we have, well, if you mean churches generally, you can see a church just about everywhere on the island. Church of God, we have 18 churches. We would have started in 1912 with a gentleman called Philip Scanterbury, who returned from the United States to visit an ailing relative.
Wow.
And started some open-air services in Mile and a Quarter under a tamarind tree.
Wow.
And
which we got to pass on our drive.
We did. Very cool. We did. And then out of those open-air services, the church in Mile and a Quarter was birthed in 1912.
Wow.
And then, from then we kept planting churches around the island. At one time we had 22 churches, then we had 20, now we have 18. We had lots of great support from the missionary board in those early days. Lots of missionaries came down to Barbados to support the growing churches and so on, and to lead the churches. But that's where we are now. 18 churches spread across
1912, that's such a long history for the Church of God on this island as well. I think that's sometimes I think in the Church of God we have a short-term memory and think that, that I don't know, we forget how many of the places where we are in the world have been around for a long time. I mean, so the organization that I work for, Global Strategy, which was Global Missions and the Missionary Board, it didn't start till I think 1907. So really only 5 years after that there was already something here. And so it's incredible to me that it has such a long history, and I love that it was started by a Barbadian who came back and started that in his home, his homegrown leader, which I think is really, really incredible.
I think that's great too. And the like I said, the missionary board would have given us great support in those early years. And then a guy with a very interesting name, Caesar Augustus Bannister, became our first chairman, local chairman. Okay. And then several other persons since then. Since then, we had always had local leaders, chairman leading our General Assembly.
That's so important. So good. So what are some of the challenges that the churches here face? What are some of the unique things that you're seeing in your world?
I think that we have right now the challenge of an aging pastoral team across the board, fewer persons answering the call to ministry. And that provides us with some challenges. So we have some churches on the island that are without a pastor. There's somebody providing leadership, but that person doesn't want to become the pastor. The person is just there until a pastor emerges or is assigned to the church. That's a major problem for us because as we look to the future, churches need leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's one of our major challenges. We also have challenges related to things like what we call natural disasters because we are in the Atlantic hurricane belt. And from time to time, we are impacted by weather systems that deal a blow to our infrastructure and that kind of thing. So that's something that we watch between June and November. Every year, our eyes are on the weather just to see what is happening around. But those are some of the challenges. I think that we also have the challenge of being able to reach young people. A lot of young people in our island are still unchurched. And it is something that we have to pay attention to. How are we going to reach young people across our nation who are becoming involved with drugs and with crime and those kinds of things? So that's an ongoing challenge because I know that as a church we have to retool, we have to rethink, we have to strategize to see how we are best equipped to reach the next generation. So that's something that's occupying our mind at this time as well.
That's so good and sounds so familiar to churches that we engage with in the United States who have those same challenges of an aging leadership and trying to connect with young people and issues dealing with a natural disaster, although at a very different level than here. And I was writing with someone recently who mentioned that they feel like their time on the island when they were younger, that the weather patterns were different than what they're experiencing today. And I thought that was really fascinating. I asked them to kind of talk a little bit more about that, and they said that, it just seems hotter, that they tend to experience slightly more hurricanes than what they used to. And is that something that you would agree with? Like, what's been your experience?
Yes, I certainly would agree with that. In fact, there was a time when we had a definite, what we will call wet season and the dry season.
Okay, so those are kind of your two seasons. I mean,
yes.
we have 4 seasons.
Yes.
You have really wet and dry. Those
yes.
are the two.
And even though sometimes they looked similar,
yeah,
or the transitions from one to the next sometimes went deeper into one, you knew that there would be a time every year when the grass would be brown.
Yeah.
Leaves wouldn't fall from the trees in the same way that it doesn't fall.
Yeah.
But leaves would get a little yellow. Outside would be very dry.
Yeah.
And then there was a time when there would be lots of rain. You could count on the rain falling. Outside would be very green for a particular period. So our wet season would have been from around June to November.
Okay.
And the dry season would be December till around May.
Okay.
And that was pretty standard. Now, we don't have that. It's much hotter. And I guess because it's much hotter, with the hills attracting all of this heat and so on, we end up with rain, what we call unseasonal rain, falling a lot. And I'm not sure if it rained since you were here, but it's been raining a lot.
Yeah, just sprinkling.
In January and February, which is not the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the patterns have really changed quite a bit, and it is much hotter. I remember the days when it was customary for persons to wear a coat or a sweater if they were going to church at night.
Wow.
Now persons are sitting in church, and because in a number of our churches we don't have air conditioning, persons are using their fans and they're trying to keep themselves cool because it's so hot.
Yeah, that's just helpful. I think, from where we are, I don't see those changes in the same way. And so I appreciate hearing that and being aware of that. Yeah. 2 more questions. This is the question I love to ask as a part of this podcast. We call it A World of Good. What good is God doing in your world here in Barbados and the work that's happening here?
All right, that's an interesting question. And here where we are in Silver Sands, I think God is doing a lot, and we are trying to be His arms and in reaching our community. We have started what we call a benevolent ministry.
Okay.
We had been persons who always reached out to our community, but we've noticed that more persons in our neck of the woods happen to be admitting that they're needy. And so as a church, we think it's our responsibility to be the hands of God in ministering to the needs of those persons. Absolutely. And so we started a benevolent ministry specifically designed to meet the needs of needy people. Persons have been pouring into that ministry in terms of gifts, in terms of resources, in terms of finances, so that we can help families. And I think that's great, because we don't want to just bring the gospel to people and share with them the news of salvation, but we also want to carry the love of God to them. And so we think that God blesses us so that we can bless others. Saves us so that we can help others to become saved. So that's where we're seeing God's hand at work in our lives as a church.
I love that. That's so great. Yeah. That's so great. And for our folks that are listening that want to know, how can they be praying for you, Pastor Lennox, for your family, for the churches here? What are some things that we can be lifting up?
Okay. I think that our pastors work very hard across the island.
Are most of them bivocational?
They're bivocational pastors.
Okay. So these are people who have the full-time job and they're pastoring.
Full-time job,
which includes
full-time pastoring.
Yeah, all of the pastoring pieces of visiting and funerals and weddings and everything.
And dealing with their family life.
Yeah.
And all those things. And I know that it's tough for a lot of pastors trying to cope with all the demands of pastoring and family life and their own secular work. But so pray for our pastors. Pray that God gives them strength and the courage to continue to do His work, and that their family lives don't suffer because of the amount of time and effort that they have to put into other things. Pray for us in terms of the future of leadership in our churches, because like we outlined earlier, there's a dearth of new leaders in terms of emerging, and we still have pastoral staffs where persons are continuing to serve because they don't see a successor. And there are a lot of things that can happen there, and we don't want a case where church is going to decline because leaders are not able to give up their best anymore, and there's no one who is ready to take the baton and run with it. So along the areas of leadership, I think that's where we need most prayer. Pray for our leaders. Yes.
We will be doing that, and one of the things that I love is that already you're having conversations with folks in the Caribbean, in the United States, but also just around the world of what does it look like for us to support those leadership transitions, and we're a global Church of God. So as people that are listening to this, if you have a heart to engage in pastoral ministry, there are places to do that all over the world to be a part of what the church is doing. And it's been such a great honor to be able to join you guys for this convention, for the conference. This morning to be at a baptism in the ocean was beautiful. So grateful for the work that God's doing through you and through this church here. And we'll be praying for you and the many years to come. And for families, I think you're exactly right. You said that you actually pastor two churches.
Yes.
One Sunday, and then the next Sunday you go to the other. And that it was supposed to be a 6-month assignment that has turned into
4 years.
Yes.
4 years and 2 months now.
So we will be praying for you and for those pastors that are serving, that you continue to have the strength that you need and the people coming along to support you in that. So thank you so much, Pastor.
Thank you so
Lennox.
much, Andrew. God bless you.
Thanks for listening to A World of Good. A World of Good is a production of Global Strategy and Church of God Ministries. Our theme song is Colorado by Leo Flores. If you want to join the conversation, visit us on Instagram, A World of Good Podcast, or visit our website, chogglobal.org/A World of Good. And join us next time as we share more stories of good from around the world.